Hey there, this is Dave Albritton. Grace wanted me to do a video for her because she got a message asking basically what are some of the pitfalls of opening up a food truck, and do we have any advice for you? And the answer is absolutely yes. I'm going to give you some absolute rock solid advice on some of the things you need to think about when you're starting out, okay? So I'll get right into it. So number one, don't overcomplicate things, okay? I see too many people doing this. What you want is simple and good. And I learned this after our first food truck with Grace's Lumpia when I made my second food truck, okay? And basically what you want to do is you want to take something that people already find appetizing. They know what it is, and there's a lot of them out there, okay? And then you just want to simply make that thing better. Now you have to consider where you're at in terms of your geographic location, whether it's in the United States or somewhere around the world. Okay, for example, if you're in a very diverse place like Miami or one of the places in California, there's a lot of foods that they're used to because there's all kinds of different cultures coming in from everywhere. Now, if you're in a place like some of the places that are more rural in the South, you got to keep it a little bit more simple because there's a certain type of cuisine that they're used to. If like at first, when we first opened up Grace's Lumpia, hardly anyone knew what a lumpia was, and we had a hard time with that. Now, eventually it came around, and we did well with it, but not a smart thing to do just starting out, okay? Okay, so then once you have that simple thing, whether it's, wings, a burger, burritos, tacos, something along those lines, whatever it is. And again, if you're in one of these areas where they're more used to foods from some of these other cultures, you'll be fine. But keep it simple and make it good. For example, when we did Dave's Old Fashioned Burger, I spent months on building the burger. What do I mean by that? I weighed out the different sizes. I actually modified the burger press to get it, a certain thinness, right? I tried different cheeses. I ended up cutting my own cheese because I wanted the cheese to be a certain thickness. And you just obsess over this one thing. And then once you figure that out, and by the way, make sure you have people come over that actually will tell you the truth, and tell them before they come here, listen, you're not going to hurt my feelings, okay? If it sucks, I need you to tell me. Because what will happen is if everyone tells you that it's great and it's not, you're going to present it to the public and they won't tell you. Most people won't tell you that it sucks, right? You got a few people that'll, go online and, get behind the keyboard and run their mouth, but most people can tell you, oh yeah, it's really good, yeah, when in reality it isn't. And that's the number one way to kill your business. So if I were to do it again, I'll just give you an example. I would do wings, okay? And I would cook everything in tallow. I'd make my own sauces. I would test out the sauces. That way the sauces are completely unique. I can make them without seed oils. Therefore, I could advertise, hey, everything is seed oil free. We make our ranch in-house with an avocado oil-based mayo for the ranch or whatever. You could do everything and completely leave out the seed oils, including the tallow you cook it in. And then now you have something that is a staple and is completely unique. The only other variable you need is to make sure that you invite your friends over to try it over and over and over, and tell them to be specific. Tell them, hey, try this, but make sure if there's anything off. I want you to be an absolute critic of everything. You are not helping me by just telling me it's good. Tell them that, okay? And we all have those friends, the Simon Cowells of the world that will just tell you straight up. Invite those people over. Have them tell you exactly what they think about your food, okay? That's the most important thing. So take something that everybody likes, test it over and over and over and over and over again, and make it great, and then present it. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And also, by the way, this makes your day-to-day a lot more simple. You have less things to think about, less things to order. You're going to get the order to the customer a lot faster when you have a simple operation. You don't have a massive kitchen with, 10 employees back there. You got you, maybe one other person, maybe two other people on busy days, and that's it. So the simpler you can make it will also result in a faster experience for the customer in terms of from when they order to when they get their food. So I can tell you this is the number one thing that you must focus on, which is why I'm spending so much time talking about it, okay? So once you've done that, next thing is the name. Now, a lot of people like to get creative and they like to think about all these cool names. Once again, you have to kind of check your emotional side, your creative side in this moment. I'm not saying don't be creative, but make sure you're being practical as well, okay? Now, in my name, Dave's Old Fashioned Burger. It's very direct. It's telling you what I'm selling, a burger. It's telling you who I am, Dave, and it's telling you something that describes the burger that's associated with something positive. When people think about quality, they often think about, something from the past, like things were built better, back in the day, right? And that's true. They used to talk about how Cokes used to taste different, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? And so when I say old fashioned is associated with quality. So just keep it real simple, but tell them what it is you do. You got that one thing, right? The one thing you do, the wings, the burgers, the tacos, right? Make sure that is in the name. Because if you don't have that in the name, but you sell it, people are going to be like, I don't know what this is. I don't know. Or if they Google tacos, right? If it's not in the name, who knows? It might not come up. Yeah, if you do the metadata and all that and, get your SEO right, sure, it'll come up. But don't play that game. Just make sure it's in the name, okay? All right, next thing I would say is, now once you have those things, okay, make sure that the financial side is meticulously, and this is getting easier and easier with AI, by the way, meticulously tracked, okay? Pay very close attention to where every dollar is going. Separate business expenses from your personal expenses, and just make sure all of that stuff is nice and tight. Trust me, spend an hour to 2 per week, every week, focusing on this stuff with absolute zero noise, okay? Zero noise, hyper focus on it, and just get it done. Get it done. You will thank yourself later, okay? Also decide, what your business model is. Are you going to travel? Are you going to stay in one place? All right. If you stay in one place, you're going to have to do a few things. You're going to have to figure out how to get rid of your gray water. You're going to have to figure out a source of electricity. Now, you can use the generator, but that's not ideal. A lot of places you can actually, have a plug put in, get the city involved, have them put it in your name and everything, and then just plug right in. That's ideal. It would be great to have a clean out drain for your gray water, but oftentimes that's not the case. So what we did is we took one of those big tanks that you usually use for agriculture, and we attached a pump to where we drain the gray water. And then the pump drains it or sucks it from the gray water tank into that big tank. And then we come through with another big tank and then we pump it out of that and then go dump it. And we got to do that usually once every 2 weeks. So that's a solution for you if you don't have a clean out drain. Okay. Now, also, if you are traveling, vet the people that you're doing the event for. Why? Because they're not thinking like you. Okay, they're not thinking in terms of, oh, well, I need to have X amount of customers for X amount of food trucks for everybody to be successful. They're just inviting everybody. Oh, yeah, it'd be great if we had this person and that person. And next thing you know, there's like, if I'm a burger truck and there's like 5 other burger trucks and there's, 500 people there and there's all kinds of other stuff to eat, that dog don't hunt. So you have to come up with a series of questions that you ask every single person. Like, hey, listen, how many people are going to be there? How many people are going to be there that are serving the same thing as me? Okay. Personally, if you're going to move around, I would just keep my day job, and then just do big events on weekends. Keep your day job or your whatever it is you do to make money and do big events on weekends. Why? Because number one, that'll get your name out there and you'll learn a lot while you're making money. And you don't need to take any of that money and pay your bills with it since you're keeping your day job. So I would do that for the first year. I'd keep my day job, big events on weekends, only big events, like the biggest events you can find, right? And then do that for the first year. And then once you have new data, a new understanding of your own business, how it operates, what the processes are, then you can look for a permanent spot because you got your name out there, you got some extra cash stacked up, and you also understand your business. Okay. Last thing I'll share with you: process, process, process. Make everything a process. For example, I have a CRM that will send a text to a link to a form for the girl on Saturday night to fill out. And it's just a simple yes or no. Do we have more or less of X whatever product or food that we need? She'll mark yes or no. And then from there, an automation will then send the person that's buying everything on Monday a nice clean list of everything that needs to be bought and enough for the whole week. That way you're not doing a bunch of random shopping and you're not doing this, that, and the other. Now that's more if you're actually in one place and you're kind of operating more as like a restaurant style, but just out of a food truck. But trust me, once you're in one place, you want to make sure you have processes and protocols dialed in. Don't get upset at your employee if they don't know precisely what to do every single day. Make lists, checklists. This is what you do there. This is what you do there. Keep it simple. Make sure it's simple for them to understand, because then you can hold your employees accountable to the things that you said that you need them to do. But if you don't have a mapped out plan for them to do that every day, then guess what? That's on you. It's not on them. Okay, that's from poor leadership. So those are my my top bits of advice for anyone starting. If you have any specific questions about anything that I brought up, or maybe something that I didn't that you thought of, go ahead and reach out to Grace, and I would be happy to answer any of them. Just let me know. I'm an open book. So thanks for the question, and we appreciate the follow. Thank you.